Hello and good morning. I'm not at home right now. I've decided to take a kind of last minute trip. I was gonna make this trip anyway, but I was gonna do it later in March, and I decided like 2 weeks ago to do it now instead, and so I haven't really recorded anything pretty much since I decided that, because I've just been spending so much time getting ready. I'm currently in an Airbnb in Wyoming. I drove over 8 hours yesterday, and as soon as the sun rises today, I'm going to head out and do another over 9 hours of driving to get to Salt Lake. My family's going through a bit of a crisis, and they kind of need me there for emotional and moral support, and also just to help them out in general. And they're selling the house, so I need to go get the rest of my stuff, get it back to my house. So that's kind of what I'm doing, and I'm driving this whole trip on my own both ways, which is kind of crazy for me. I am a bit nervous, but anyway, yeah, so I just made myself a nice coffee. I'm gonna be packing all my stuff into my car and getting all ready to go, and then as soon as the sun rises, I'm gonna be getting back on the freeway and driving the rest of the way. Anyway, that's where I'm at. I made it alive. That was one of the most taxing things I've done in a long time. That second day of driving was honestly such a mess. There's so much ice on the roads in Wyoming. That was so scary. And then I popped a tire in the middle of nowhere in Wyoming, and someone pulled over and had to put my spare on for me, and I had to go find a tire shop and get the tire replaced and get that all done in time to still get to Salt Lake before the sunset, because driving in the dark is not a good idea. Wyoming is just a horrible place to have to drive through. I hate Wyoming. The wind was so terrible. The roads were so icy. I'm alive. The car's okay. Everything's okay. Yeah, I've actually been here for 2 days now. I got here the night before last, and all of yesterday I was just such a mess having to recuperate from the drive, but I'm feeling a little bit more stable today. So yeah, now the adventures so to speak are gonna be starting today. So come here babe. Oh yeah, she's a baby. Hello baby. Oh, you're gonna be so clean, and it's gonna feel so good. Between the stress of the drive, the disorientation of a new environment, and the terrible Salt Lake City air quality, my body became a complete wreck very quickly. My face swelled up, I started breaking out, I had extreme abdominal bloating, I started getting nosebleeds, started routinely coughing, and the skin on my hands turned into sandpaper. Sorry if that's a bit TMI, but it was bad enough that I feel like I should mention it, as it lasted the entire trip. I'm gonna get you all warm, gonna get you all dried off. Yeah. As for what I got up to, well, first I needed to rest for a couple of days. But after that, I got to work trying to help out with chores to relieve a little stress from my mom. And then I started pulling box after box after box of my childhood belongings and sorting through them, taking whatever could be fit into my car and sending the rest to the secondhand store. I probably went through almost a dozen boxes. I have a history of being a bit of a hoarder. But it was nice to be reunited with my old treasures. Maybe I'll share them here in a future video. Alongside the sorting, I was working on a memory bear that I meant to finish months and months ago, but couldn't find the time. Since my aunt that I'm making it for lives in Salt Lake, I thought I'd finish it there while I was in town. And then of course, I spent some time catching up with the friends and family I left behind when I moved away last May. I met with an old friend from school that I hadn't seen in years and years, and I wish we didn't live so far away because I think we could be even better friends now than we were in high school. And I was even able to meet up with a friend I've only ever known online in person, which I don't think will ever stop feeling surreal no matter how many times I've done it.
Seems like forever since we've been together. Oh God, I
I have. It's bizarre.
And I read your letters and look at your pictures. Oh God, I miss you so bad.
That kind of looks like fins.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Mushroom fins. They're wonderful. It's cool.
Till then I'm dreaming of your heart, your eyes, our love.
Recording. He does.
I know it's flowers, but it looks like it's pooping.
It does.
Oh God, I miss you bad. The only thing I need is you beside me. God, I miss you so bad.
So they wanted to give everyone jobs, and my job was to make shirts for everyone. So this is amazing.
It's gonna bite me! That's what yeah. But there was one that actually bit you.
He did bit me.
He did bit you.
He did bit me.
I think we went to Donut Falls.
That's where we were. We went
Yeah.
to Donut Falls. They have so many on that. It's like, you know, what's your sister trauma? What did your sister do to you? She took the Tickle Me Elmo, hung it, like noose around its neck, hung it outside my room so that when I open my door, there's, you know, he's like laughing and like glitching on the wall.
One time she woke up in the middle of the night with the blood curdling screams and it freaked Adam out. He woke up, he grabbed like a machete or a hatchet or something and ran up.
Let me see.
All right, are we gonna take this here picture, people? Act like you like each other, please. You ready? Smiles, everybody. Come on. Look at the camera, too. All right. There you go. Oh, my God. Okay. There we go. Good.
Bounce on the picture.
Sarah's like, I got licked in the eye. Thank you. Okay, ready? Brownie. Meow meow.
Brownie, look at my Tia.
Hello.
There's like 2 inches on each side.
But we always had to get back to work after every reunion, as there was so much to be done. There were always more boxes to be sorted, and then one long weekend we spent all day, every day, loading this huge dumpster with all of the junk the entire family had accumulated over the years we lived here. Unfortunately, I didn't record any of this, as it was so taxing I could barely get through it as it was. And then towards the end, my brother stepped on a rusty nail, so I took him to get a tetanus shot and a checkup, which stretched on hours into the dark of the night. Something else I spent a lot of time on was taking pictures of the things my mom was selling, posting them on Facebook Marketplace, and then responding to the dozens of messages, which was its own kind of exhausting. But luckily, between all the work that had to be done, I was able to find some time to spend with my mom. And we mostly just watched our favorite movies together and ate yummy food that I would make while she was at work or running errands, and treats she would bring home from work. It was exactly what we needed after so many long, frustrating days, and I'll enjoy having these memories that I like to think of as being the eye of the storm that was our reality, now that I'm far away again. And then the real natural storm hit, and we got more snow than Salt Lake has seen in years, and it went on for several days. We spent all morning the day after shoveling and snow blowing and just trying to get the cars out of the driveway.
Doing good.
And because of this storm, I had to postpone my drive back home for 5 extra days. So, a little update here. Pretty much the entire west side of the country is having a huge winter storm. I knew like a week ago that there was going to be a storm about this time, but I had no idea how big it was going to be. It's Wednesday today, and I originally wanted to leave to go back home on Tuesday, but unfortunately the storm hit on Monday and has been going on ever since, and so I was planning to leave on Friday instead to give the roads plenty of time to get cleaned up and for the ice to melt before I head out again. But we got the heaviest part of the storm today, and so far we've accumulated at least 2 feet of snow, which makes it the worst storm that Utah's had in years and years. And I was going to be leaving the day after tomorrow, so I was just freaking out about that most of the day today, just completely terrified of having to drive those horrible roads in Wyoming right after a storm like this. So I'm postponing my drive back home by 1 more day in an attempt to wait out the ice on the roads and to give the snowplows some extra time to clean up the roads, because I'm absolutely terrified to go back out on those roads after how bad the storm has been, which means that I'm going to be here for over 2 weeks in Salt Lake City, and which means that I'm going to be away from home for almost 3 weeks. And it's been really hard to be away from home that long and to be here for so long. And I don't know if you can tell by the way that my eyes look right now, but I cried about all of that for probably like 3 hours today. I feel really just strained and exhausted and overworked by everything, and I just want to go home, but I can't because one of the worst storms in years is blowing over right now, so I'm stuck here. But anyway, that's all for now. I've been crying so much lately, I'm half convinced that my eyes are gonna permanently be in this like puffy bloodshot state. I don't know if you can even see it on camera, but my eyes have looked like this for at least a couple days already. But anyway, I'm in a hotel. I finished my first day of driving yesterday. Once I'm done recording here, I'll be getting dressed to start my second day. And after today, I will finally be home. I ended up having to take a different route this time. When I came down to Salt Lake, I went through Wyoming. Wyoming is completely snowed in. The roads weren't even opened by the time I was supposed to leave, so now I'm going through Colorado and then north through Nebraska. And I was stuck in about 3 hours of stop and go traffic near Denver. It was horrible. I should get started because I don't have a lot of time before the sun rises, and I have 11 hours of driving, so I need as much sunlight as I can get. So see you when I get home. I don't know. See ya. I finally made it back home. I was half convinced during the last 4 hours of the drive that I wouldn't. The route that I took through Nebraska and South Dakota to get home, there was about 4 hours of just like pure ice on the roads, and I lost control of the car a couple times, and then I had to drive in the dark in the ice. I don't want to get into all the details, but long story short, it was a little bit traumatic, and my life flashed before my eyes a couple times, and I'm so relieved to be home. As great as it was to see my family again, I don't want to downplay how difficult it was to be back in the city and to have to, do as much work as there was to be done. And then I had to do all of the driving on top of that. I'm honestly really proud of myself for making it through this trip. I have this habit of blaming myself for the limitations I have due to my illnesses and such. I'll basically just see it as me being weak and completely incapable and useless. And I think if there's one thing that this whole experience is really driven in for me. It's that despite my limitations, I'm still capable of great things. And even with all of the struggles that I have to deal with on a daily basis, it didn't stop me from traveling by myself in my car halfway across the country in the middle of winter. And although I definitely am not in a good state to do anything like that anytime soon again, and I definitely think that I would fly rather than drive if I'm ever gonna do this in the winter again, I think it's still really incredible that I was able to do that, and I'm really proud of myself. But that's it for now. Bye. Blurring. I'm not gonna raise it. Peace, Ma. Cheese.
Oh, hi, little nugget. You're just a little nugget, aren't you? Yes, look at your little nugget, baby.